What is up, Rafflitos? Welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday morning in Guyana. It is 6:35 on a Saturday morning, Saturday the 22nd of August 2025. And we're back in this neck of the woods. We are back in Eccles. We're going to take a look at the new Demerara River Bridge. You can see the colors of the German flag behind me. Yep, those are the colors of the German flag. And we're on the bridge, the pedestrian overpass at Eccles. So what I want to do today is to give you an update on what's happening with the new Demerara River Bridge. I'm going to show you what's happening around the area. The last time we were here, I didn't get a chance to show you what was happening at the new Hyatt Hotel. So today I can show you that. Back there behind me, that is the road to Georgetown going north. That is the public road, the East Bank Public Road, looking north to Georgetown, and in the opposite direction is the public road looking south towards Temeri and Linden and Point South. So it's about 6:35, almost 6:40, just after sunrise. Sunrise is about 6 a.m. here in Guyana, and I want to show you what's happening with the bridge. So let's go. So guys, yes, we're back on the East Coast. This is looking north. Did I say 22nd? It is the 23rd day of August 2025. And what I'm going to show you here is the road to Georgetown looking north along the East Bank Public Road. The arch, of course, is at Agricola. That's officially where the city boundary lies. That is where Georgetown begins, at Agricola, officially. And we're standing in Eccles. Then looking south, in this direction, you can see the public road looking south towards Temeri Airport and Point South. And glorious sight, what can we see there? The bridge has been joined. So clearly, since the last time we were here about 2 weeks ago, they seem to have found a way to connect the ramp section of the bridge to the high span section. So that is what we want to look at today. We want to see how far they've come, what have they accomplished. If you look at the end of the ramp section, where there is a blue crane, that horizontal crane connecting the high span section and the ramp section, you can see there is a bit of bridge now. There is no gap. There's no longer a gap between the high span section and the ramp. And of course, if you look further along the bridge, it's not clear whether they've actually completed this joint, but they're going to join these two sections, the two high span sections, and further south, you can see there, they seem to have joined. They have now joined the high span section with the west bank section of the bridge. So the bridge is officially connected. In other words, a person may be able to walk from one end of the bridge, from one side of the river to the other side of the river, because there are no significant gaps left, although I think this gap up close might be still open. But that's the state on the 23rd of August 2025. The bridge has been joined. There is now one continuous bridge, not for traffic yet because it is not yet open to traffic, but there is now one continuous bridge for, say, the workmen who wanted to walk from one side of the river to the other. And that is what we're going to go and take a closer look at today. That's what's happening, guys. Let me go closer and show you what's happening. This is the overpass, right? We're at the pedestrian overpass. All those German flags that line the streets are in celebration of German independence. Large German population here in Guyana. I'm kidding, guys. It's election season. It's a silly season. A lot of people are hyped up and ramped up this election cycle. And those colors, those German colors, are actually colors from one of the political parties, current ruling party. My prediction for those of you who are paying attention to this election cycle is that nobody is going to win 33 seats in government. That is, there will be no landslide victory. There will be no clear winner of this election. There will be a minority government. I think one party might win the most seats, but it's not going to be more than 20 something, maybe 25 seats. And you need 33 seats to form a government to rule this country. So one party is going to get in the 20s, maybe 25. The second party is probably going to get in the teens, maybe 17, 18 seats. And the smaller parties are going to get the rest. So we are going to have a minority government this year, which is a good thing because it means the corruption will be checked. And this is the current situation: unbridled, unharnessed, unarrested corruption in the wake of Guyana's oil and gas industry. But that's politics. Let's get back to talking about this bridge, although the bridge is now also politics. What's happening with this bridge? It's supposed to be completed by the end of August because the ruling government promised their supporters that they're going to have evidence of progress by the election day, and this is, of course, their signature project. And we've been examining it in this series of videos because it is one of the largest projects in Guyana, spending in excess of 260 million US dollars in loans from the government of China. In other words, the arrangement is that the government of China will provide the loan to build the bridge. That is the bulk of the bridge, but that comes with, in other words, the Chinese contractor will build the bridge. In other words, the Chinese contractor got the project to build this bridge because the Chinese government is financing it. And so, of course, the work crew is Chinese. They've done a little better this time than when this government tried to build the Marriott Hotel that was also built by a Chinese company. On that occasion, all of the workers, virtually everybody on this work site was Chinese, despite what they tell you, despite what certain people tell you. All of the Marriott Hotel at Kingston was built by Chinese, including the most menial of tasks. They did not give a single job to Guyanese. So, of course, everybody wants to rewrite history and tell you that that's a lie, but those are the facts. I was here, and you can actually go to my videos in the archives to see exactly how that hotel was built. That is the Marriott Hotel. Go back far enough in the archives, you will see a hole in the ground in my videos, and I've tracked that building, the construction of that building from beginning to end. So those of you who are interested in history, there is a record, a visual record in the archives of this channel, not only on the Marriott Hotel, but on several other hotels. But this set of videos is about the new Demerara Bridge, and we've been following this bi-weekly, every other week, for the past, I would say, 6 months to a year, because I discovered pretty early that the progress they were making was visible on a bi-weekly basis. In other words, once every 2 weeks, you could actually see something significant happening. And that's what we've been doing, coming back here to the East Bank Public Road and approaching the bridge, looking at the progress that has been made. Now here at the top of these pillars, the high span pillars, you can see the cranes are still there. They have not taken down the cranes. And I've always wondered at that. Does it mean that they have not finished with the height? In other words, making the bridge, making those pillars taller. My guess is that they were still probably going to add more height to these pillars, which is why they kept the cranes up and running for the last several months. Or perhaps they need those cranes to attach to the wires, right? Those are actually cables, right? So they probably need the cranes to attach the cables to the bridge. Whatever the reason, most or all those cables have been attached and the cranes are still up, which means that they've not finished working on the high span section. Let's get closer. Here we are, we're at the Eccles Assembly of God. That's the location, Eccles Assembly of God Church. And we're approaching the intersection for the road from Bagotstown to the Eccles interchange. At this intersection, we have actually crossed over this road to take a look at the bridge on the west bank of the river. We won't do that today, but we've always gone down this street to take a look at the bridge. We got a glimpse of it through that opening on the canal. Now, over here, this is the road to Eccles interchange. All right, we also looked at this road while it was being constructed. Yeah. So yeah, this is the road to the Eccles interchange. We follow this road also since its construction. I pointed out to you various errors in the design. Bagotstown. And why errors in the design can actually cause harm. In other words, can cause deadly accidents. A lot of people can't really think ahead, but that's not their job, that's my job. So those of you who can't follow, just listen. So the reason why I point out problems in the design of these roads is because the design affects safety. And for those of you who don't live in Guyana, if you're trying to understand why I'm saying the things that I'm saying, what I'm saying is you just have to follow the rest of the news of the number of deadly accidents on the roads every day in Guyana. A lot of it is driver error and bad attitudes, but also there's a lot of it that is due to poor and unsafe road design. And that's the reason why I point this out. Now you can see the rails of the new bridge. All right, you can see that yellow rail. Actually, it's over the span that passes over the East Bank Public Road, over this road. And as some people have pointed out, that is prevent people from climbing over the rails and falling onto the road below. Or maybe some other, car parts flying off vehicles and landing on the road below, on the traffic below. So that is a safety feature. The problem I have with it is that it doesn't go far enough. It probably should be tall enough to encircle the bridge, the deck of the bridge, so that there's no way to climb over it. All right, my point is that there should be no way for you to get over that section of the wall, the rail, and land on the road below. And that means, of course, better design, safer design. So those are the things I point out in the video. And some people are very defensive. They don't like you to point out uh, breaches in safety. But for those of you who are safety conscious and thinking about your own life and limb, you want to pay attention to these descriptions that I'm giving. There's a reason why I don't drive in Guyana. People think that, driving a car is an achievement, an accomplishment. I don't see it that way. Driving a car is one of the few things you can do where you can leave your house in perfect health and end up dead before you can reach back home. That's anywhere in the world, not just in Guyana, but especially in Guyana because of the very bad driving habits, the lawlessness on the road, and the very poor road design. So I choose not to drive in Guyana because it is one less variable that I have to worry about. In other words, there are various things that you have no control over in life. Some things, however, you do have control over. And one of those things is exposing yourself to traffic driving in Guyana, and I choose not to. But this is where we are. We're now at the corner of that's the Peters Hall Junction, the bridge, Demerara Harbor Bridge, old Demerara Harbor Bridge, and the East Bank Public Road. So this is the bridge traffic. What is significant on this Saturday morning is there's no